Good evening friends and welcome to today's webinar. Today we are going to discuss about Shiny app from RStudio. Shiny is a product that RStudio is developing, which is used for creating good visualizations. You want to create HTML pages, web interfaces or dashboards, then Shiny app is used on top of your R codes. That's the topic for today's webinar. Welcome to 360 Digit MG, and let's proceed with the topic. So today we are going to cover these topics. We will start understanding, or we'll introduce ourselves to Shiny. Then what is the basics that we need to understand about creating a Shiny app or developing a Shiny app, execution of these codes, how do we develop a Shiny app, then what are the various features, how do we deploy, and we'll look into a couple of examples, and that would be pretty much what we are going to cover as part of today's webinar. Now I request everyone to be on mute so that the recording is clean. And this recording is going to be provided to you on a YouTube private channel. So please post your questions in a window that I'm going to provide you. Until then, I would request everyone to be on mute. Thank you, and let's proceed. So what is Shiny, right? In order to understand the product, Shiny product, we'll first have to look at this simple question. If I develop a code in R, and if you want to create this kind of a visualization, a curve shape visualization, then how much time do you think it would take, and what is the effort that you have to put in developing such a visualization, right? A lot of people who have joined the session are already aware of the capabilities of R software. I'm pretty much sure you are doing a lot of hands-on on R, and you know the capability of R. It has good statistical computing capability or statistical analysis capability. It has a lot of inbuilt packages, right? And it has a little bit of visualization capabilities as well, right? But if I have to develop a dynamic visualization, not a static image. For example, if you see in this image, can I give an option to the user to make adjustments to this slide bar? What happens if I choose the input as 3? What happens if I choose input as 4? What is the effect on this particular visualization? This is what we are going to learn today, and you will eventually come to know how easy it is to develop a code or a visualization in R which is dynamic. Let's move on. So to start off with, you need to understand what is Shiny. Now Shiny is a product which is developed by RStudio, and it is nothing but a simple R package, and this is how you are going to install your R package. Install packages and say Shiny. Okay, there is a small mistake here, that is your double quotes. And then if you want to use this package, you are going to load that package using the library function. That is all you have to do, and it gives the capability for the users to develop web applications or live dashboards. It combines it. This package combines the capabilities of your R programming with web pages. So it combines web technology with R, right? So it is an interface which helps users to interact with web pages, HTML pages. Not just that, you'll also be able to create very, very beautiful visualizations, right? And it is just a simple package. Everything is there ready-made. It's a very simple self-contained web framework. And you don't need any additional work to be done on top of Shiny. A lot of features, sliding bars, widgets, right? Check boxes, all these are readily available. Now coming to the deployment, you can deploy a Shiny app once it is developed on your local machine as well. You can also use a hosted server. RStudio comes up with this shinyapps.io, which is a hosted server by RStudio. You can purchase license on that if you are using it for commercial purpose. And then you can directly share your deployed code or deployed HTML web application as a URL to your clients. Right? And you can also use web browsers to deploy your Shiny apps. Let me show you the website. So all you have to do is come to RStudio. Let me come to this RStudio. Everybody is familiar with this RStudio website, right? Now under here, products, you can see they have Shiny server. And this is open source, mind you. So just click on that. And this is what it redirects you to. And you can simply download a Shiny package and start using that for developing interesting visualizations. Right? So you can click on Shiny server documentation here as well. Okay. And this is where you have hosted service, shinyapps.io. Click on that. This is your cloud-based Shiny app application. So you just have to log in and create your applications and share the URL with your clients. Very easy. Right? So this is how you can start working with our Shiny, which is going to help you deploy or develop web applications. Okay. Now let's look into the documentation also. Let me just, education. These are all the blocks that you have. R comes with a lot of education. Oh, sorry, this is not the window. Let me just check for RStudio Shiny app details. Okay. This is RStudio Connect. This is RStudio support. Okay, Shiny server. Why is I'm not able to find the documents? Okay, give me a minute. Okay, let me just search here. We say shiny.rstudio documentation. So this is where you have RStudio tutorials, which is basically explaining on various things about your RStudio. Your Shiny. So it's very easy to start off with. You will be understanding what are the various features this Shiny has, how to start developing the codes, what are the basic things that you have to do when you're developing our Shiny. Right? Anyway, let's as well. So this is about deployment. Now these are the features of our Shiny. It allows web-based applications, and the lines of code is very small. And the good part is you don't need any Java or any other programming language skills. If you know R, that is the prerequisite. You don't need anything else. Right? And these applications will them or try to do additional coding to make the live images, right? All those is not required. It is automatically live. And RStudio is basically helping us get live dashboards, live HTML pages where you are going to change how your input value is changing based on the code or application that you have developed. The output, the results are also going to get changed, right? And it is automatic. It is automatically done. Dynamic results are there. You don't have to reload or refresh. Shiny app can also be developed using HTML codes, CSS codes, or JavaScripts as well. It is not mandatory, but it has that capability also. And as I said, there are ready-made output widgets, plots, tables, bars, slider bars, checkboxes, right? All those objects are readily available. And you can deploy it on cloud or on your local server. Now let's look into the coding. So very simple code. The Shiny app is a simple code, a simple R code. You can see app.r. That is the keyword, default keyword that is used. And this code is having a structure. It can be identified as 3 components. The first one is called as user interface object, which is by default given this name, UI.r. Server function object, this is known as server.r. And you will have a Shiny app function, which is to execute your code. Now in the latest version, you will have a single file called app.r, which is containing all these objects. But in older versions, Shiny was defined by 2 separate codes. It was not a single code, but 2 different R codes were UI.r. Okay, give me. So this is about your R code for developing Shiny apps. The older versions, as I said, has 2 different R codes, UI.r, server.r, user interface and server function. The latest version of the Shiny code, Shiny app or Shiny package is giving us the capability to develop an end-to-end application using a single file. This way it would be easy for us to look and maintain a single file, try to communicate the variables between this user interface and server function. So it becomes very easy for us to develop the codes. That's the latest versions of Shiny. Now let us see what exactly is UI.r object. As I said, application.r, app.r is a code, assume. Then in that Shiny code, you have 3 different segments. The last segment is just a Shiny application function, which is created. I'll explain, I'll show you that, which basically is calling these 2 objects, UI object and server object. Now in olden version, UI.r would be a different code, and this UI, which is user interface object, is basically controlling the layout and appearance of the application, the look and feel, right? So user interface and user experience is basically taken care in UI.r object. It includes all the sliders, date inputs, the visualizations basically. Is it a checkbox? Is it an input box? Is it a drop down box, right? These kind of widgets are upfront given, and we will be using these in the UI.R part, user interface object part. And this is the default syntax that should be there for user interface. It all starts with fluid page, and within the brackets we give the code. This is about user interface. Now coming to server. The server function basically has the instructions, it contains the instructions that are being built by the application. So you will be passing the, in simple terms, you'll be passing the R code, the logic. This is also known as the brain of your Shiny app. The first part is just the look and feel. But server.R contains the input data, the output data, the code, the logic that you are developing, everything would be there in server.R. And we are going to refer to these objects or variables, input, output, and the logic. When I say logic, I'm talking about a function. We will be using these as a reference in user interface for creating that look and feel. And as I said, the entire R code that we would have would be fit in server.R. And that's the reason the entire logic can be written, including your data preparation, data wrangling, data visualizations, machine learning algorithms, everything will fit in server.R. And this is the default syntax. And you can see this is a function, custom function that you are writing. And in this custom function, you will be giving or passing input, output, and the logic. So default syntaxes for UI user interface, it is fluid page, and just give the widgets or the inbuilt logics that are available in Shiny. And here you are passing your R code based on the data. And then I have, as I said, Shiny app application. As soon as we see, let me talk about that when I come to that slide. Okay. So Shiny app is another function which is enabling a button, which gives you a button, which when clicked, the entire code is executed and you would get the HTML page. Now, that is about the structure of your Shiny code that you are going to develop. So it is very simple, guys. As you see in here, all I need is the R code, and I would just fit that R code into this function, right? And I create mapping to the fields that are there in this particular code into your UI code, UI.R object. Very, very simple. Now coming to the data. When we talk about Shiny app, you're developing some applications, and in that applications you are providing users the facility or the feature to dynamically change the inputs, right? And you are getting some logic executed, and that logic gives you an output, right? So for all these exercises, all these tasks, you need data, right? So the data can be directly imported into Shiny code, just like how we import data into R code. It can be imported from a CSV file, JSON files, or from any other data sources using other packages, APIs. The data that we are generating in R code by doing some logics can also be used for Shiny code, right? So user data, some manual inputs can also be given, isn't it? And remember, I'm saying all that R code, the logic that you want to show to the clients would have to be fit into server.R. So entire code live inside server.R. Okay. And generally, when you are developing these server Shiny applications, the data set and the code, Shiny app.r, all would be generally fit into a single directory. This basically enables better management, and also when you want to deploy this onto a Shiny server, then it makes sense for having the data along with the code, because it would be easy to access that code by the application. And your Shiny app function, which is part of your app.r Shiny code, would automatically execute the contents by treating the entire the application by treating the entire contents of that folder. So it automatically picks. It's more like we have present working directory in R, right? So the same way you would try to, or you would want to have the data fit in the current working directory, which is nothing but that folder for Shiny. So this is a small hint that I would like to give. Always make sure the data is along with your Shiny code. Now there are two different variables, very important things that you need to consider when you are developing your code, Shiny code. These two are your input variables and output variables. So in short, I'm saying y is equals to f of x. Whatever the function that I'm deriving in my R code, it needs to have input and output, right? And these inputs and outputs are referred as variables in Shiny code. And this input variable is nothing but it represents the widgets, the controls that user is going to choose from, right? And the access to these inputs are given in server.r. That's where your entire R code and the data is present, right? And when a user is choosing an option from the front end, right, that data is passed as an input in the server.r code, and based on that input we get the executions done. But the interpretations of that input data is mapped into UI.r. That's where you are defining the look and feel. So here let's say I'm saying %white, right? So you are clicking on the drop down and choosing this. When I do that in server.r, you are saying that, hey, treat this input dollar variable as %white. This is the input that you are passing in server.r. And based on that input, there would be a certain logic which gets executed. But the mapping to this input dollar variable where the user is passing this input is mapped from UI.r. So there is an internal mapping between UI.r and server.r. Yeah, and that is done using these variables. And this is an example. I can have any name here. Okay. So here I'm saying output dollar plot. The variable name is plot here. And this plot logic is created in server.r again. Right. And when I execute, I define what is that I want to show in UI.r, the look and feel. And that output is in output variable. Right, and this is basically shown to the client. This is output variable. So I have input variable and output variable. Now let us look into the simple code. That's it, guys. Very, very simple logic for Shiny code. A lot of people believe that it is very difficult to develop code, but absolutely mistaken if you feel that or if you have that impression. Let me show you what we need to do to create this kind of an application. I'm saying choose an exponent, and based on that choice, I'm going to give you a line or a curve, right? And this is your code. This is the example code, and you can see very, very small logic. Remember the syntax, it all starts with fluid image, fluid page. And within that, I'm saying the input that I have to pass is a slider input. That is this widget. It is predefined. I'm saying, hey, use this slider bar. Right? And I'm giving the name as exponent and giving a label, choose an exponent. Again, if I go back, you can see this is choose an exponent, right? And this is the input. So here I'm having a range of 1 to 5. I'm defining that this is a range of 1 till 5 values. The slider can take 1 to 5. But what is the value? This value is the default value, right? Okay, this is small v. R is case sensitive, remember, it is small v. So though the range is from 1 to 5, what is the default value that this slider should have when you are executing the code to begin with? Once this is executed, then you can give the user an option to change, right? So that is the default value which is shown. And the output that I want is curve plot, right? So this is your application, UI.R, and here I have server.R. And the server function takes input, output, and the session. This is the session that I have to execute. And I'm saying this is your output variable. I have referred to that variable here, right? So this is my output variable, and I'm saying render plot. This is one of the function in R which takes input variable as exponent. This is your exponent. I'm passing this as an input, and this render plot will have a scale of -5 to +5. So this is -5 to +5. Right? So x and y plane, I'm passing x-axis and y-axis values. Input $exponent, which is your variable, is on your input, y-axis, and your x-axis would range from -5 to +5. These are the two functions of application.r, app.r. You can give any name to this application. And we would have this function called run app. Automatically, the R Studio will identify that the code is a Shiny app code, and it would give this button. We generally have a run button in R Studio, right? But when I'm developing this Shiny app code, R Studio will automatically understand that, and this run button will change to run app. And you just click on the run app, and these codes are internally called, and you would get the visualization. Okay. So that is about your R code. So let me show you this visualization. So here I have exponential.curve. That is the name that I have given for my R code. You can see I am passing UI, user interface code, and here this is the plot that I have defined the code, and here I am defining my input, right? And this is your Shiny application. This is the third component where you're saying, hey, these are my two inputs. It's a Shiny app which has user interface and server functions. And when I have this, automatically you see this run app button is created, and when I click on that, I get this visualization. I can change as a user. Here I'm changing it to 1, and you get a linear line. If I change to 2, I'm getting exponential line. So what I'm basically doing here is the function that I'm plotting is x power input, x power exponential. That is this input. So first is x. When I pass input as x, 1, it takes x, and it is a linear function. This is x square, x cube, x power 4 and x power 5 is the maximum input that I can give, right? So this is how you can pass your input and dynamically you change and the visualizations get changed. The good thing is you can also open this in the browser directly. You have this button, open in browser, click that. And you can see by default it is taking port number 4989 on your local host. And this is your web browser representation, right? So either it creates your HTML page like this where you can play around with the visualization, or you can click on the open browser and you get this browser representation. So this is the simple R Shiny code that we have, right? Now let us talk about a regression code. How many of you remember multiple linear regression? So a lot of people have joined my session. So how many of you remember multiple linear regression, guys? Okay, I don't see anybody name hands raised. Very few people. Okay, 2 people. That means basically you are not practicing or you have forgotten everything. Very bad. Multiple linear regression for people who have who have no idea about what I'm talking about. Multiple linear regression is a prediction technique. It's a machine learning algorithm for predicting a specific variable. And in this example, mileage is your output that you want to predict given the various details about cars. So I have X1, X2, X3, X4. This is horsepower, this is volume, top speed and weight of the vehicle. Horsepower is talking about engine capacity. Volume is talking about size of your car. Top speed is the parameter which is talking about how much speed the vehicle can reach to. And weight of the vehicle is the last parameter that we are treating here. Given these input features about a car, I need to predict the mileage. And what you are seeing is the historical data. Now using this historical data, we will develop a linear regression application, right? And I'm calling that as prediction. So to begin with, I have to first load Shiny package. If you're not loading the Shiny package, then you will not be able to utilize these widgets. You will not be able to develop a Shiny application. So the first thing is, make sure you already have a Shiny application installed, package installed, and invoke it or call it. And then write the user interface code where I would be passing these 4 features inputs into the equation. So I would get a mathematical equation which will help me predict mileage. But if I have to predict the mileage, I need to know what are these 4 features for a new vehicle, new car, right? So I'm passing them as input values. And I'm calling number, which is going to be represented for horsepower. Number 1 is volume, number 2 is your top speed, and number 3 is weight. So this is how I'm representing the variables that I'm going to pass as input. And this 1 is basically the default value which is going to be shown on the HTML or dashboard, HTML page or dashboard. And then I'm going to say display output or display plot. Now this is the user interface. Okay, I'm defining that there would be a title panel. For that screen that you're seeing, there would be a title, and then you will have sidebar layout and then sidebar panels. So these are the widgets. Then we have server function. I'm passing input and output, and I'm saying this is my variable, right? Output variable, which is defined here. I'm passing this variable here in UI.R or user interface code. That user interface code variable, output variable, is defined in server R. So I'm saying render table, where I pass this as input. Cars dataset would be passed as an input, and then I'm developing a multiple linear regression. And when I develop it, I want to use this for prediction, and this would be your input data that you're going to pass. So these are the variables that I've defined. So I'm defining them as input variables where user has to pass these values. So horsepower is number, volume is number 1, top speed is number 2, and weight is number 3. And I am using predict function here on the new data using this model that I have developed. So once you have developed the entire your R code, once you fixed on saying that, hey, this is my final model that I have to deploy to my clients, you have to use that code here and pass new data for prediction. That's it. And here I'm passing UI part and server part, right? So I'm defining server here. This is the code, and you can change the name. Okay, it's just a name that I'm passing. So user interface object name is UI. Server function object name is server. All right. So this is what I have to pass now, and all you have to do is click on run application. So by default, it is shown as 1, where your user's client would want to pass these as inputs, and that should give me an output. You might want to change this data header name to a proper name as mileage, predicted value. So you might want to see where is that given, right? And you play around with that result for getting a better label. Okay, I'll leave that to you. You have to play around with that and find out where I need to change that to get a better visualization. Now let us see what are the various values here, right? So you might also want to add some comments and all those things to define the range. So let's say horsepower, assume it is the car's horsepower that I have is, let's say, very powerful, let's say 101.5, some random number I'm passing. Okay, then volume size is, let's say, is a small vehicle, so I'm going to define it as maybe 57. Top speed, it can reach very high speeds, let's say 120 or maybe 150. And the weight of the vehicle is, volume is less, so weight would also be less. I would like to pass this as weight as something closer to, let's say, 29. Given these inputs, your mileage is predicted as 61.63. Right? So this is how you are going to develop your application in Shiny. And this is how it was moved to your web browser. Right, so this is the web browser, guys, or Shiny app. Let's see, small code that I've shown. And these are the takeaways from the session. So let us now take questions before I proceed. Anyone has questions, please post them now. Okay. Please explain the code once again. Okay, Bharat, this is the code. Do you see any difficulty in identify or understanding the code? This is your exponential.r, and if you want to see the multiple linear regression, this is what you will see. This is the definition of your look and feel. User interface and user experience would be defined in the first object. The second part basically is your regression code. the R code that you have learned. But you are packing that or wrapping that on top of this custom function, and the body of the custom function is defined for this one. What is the confusion here? Do you have any confusion? Okay, so I have seen a couple of hands raised, Gaurav and Abhishek. That is the default code, Shivanshu. So this is the default syntax. I'm saying this is a custom function wherein I'm passing input and output. These are the variables. Those variables I'm defining here. Output would be the output of this table, this one. Bharat, okay, if I have to explain regression, it is going to take a lot of time, 2 hours at least. Where is data calculation in code? What calculation you want? Bharat, is this first session, did you attend regression code classes? If you have not attended regression classes, then you will not understand the code. Just imagine that this is a function, machine learning algorithm that I am developing. It could be any function. In this code, what I'm doing, I'm creating a curve for x power input. That input variable is defined here. Right? So this is slider input, which would basically take exponent as this particular input here. Session is basically the code, I mean the object. This is the session. You can give that name or not. Input, output, and session. If you look at this, I don't have session in here. I just passed input and output, right? So I've not given any name to it. You just have given values and then data. Of course, that is the data that I'm passing as an input, right, Sandhya? So imagine you are a client, I'm developing a model for you, and there is a new vehicle that you received. For that new vehicle, you want to predict what could be the mileage. So obviously you would have the data handy and you are going to pass that as an input. And internally, there would be a mathematical equation which is getting executed based on this particular line 22. So again, Sandhya, did you attend linear regression classes? If not, then you would not be able to understand what does this code do. Yeah, so this is a mathematical equation which is created in the backend. This function is creating that. It could be any function, guys. Okay, we are using server just for client so that he can extract and run directly from anywhere, or we can show them directly using UI.R. Okay, when you're saying server, what does that mean? You're talking about the server function, Gaurav? Yeah, server function is your logic, your code. Your code would not be readily available or readily interpretable or understandable by the client. Client is not an expert in R. He will not understand that. He would rather understand the UI, right? So you have your code, on top of that you are wrapping a user look and feel or user interface. So server.r or server function is your code. That's pretty straightforward to understand. And on top of that, you would give a better look and feel for the client in a web framework, web application. That is defined in UI.R. Okay. Can you explain fixed syntaxes, which terms we can change from the program? But this is the syntax. You just have to say function, custom function, input and output. These are mandatory. Whereas for UI, it is fluid page is the keyword, and inside that fluid page, you will have these inputs. These inputs that you are seeing are kind of fixed. There are certain features that R Shiny comes up with, and you are using those features. These are like the widgets. When I say widget, if you see here, this is a text box, right? I'm giving this text box here, right? So this is one of the input panel. Your title panel says prediction. So that is defined here, right? Sidebar panel, sidebar layout. This is the layout that you have. It is defined as bar panel. This is a bar input, bar plot kind of a thing, right? Where you are going to give inputs. So these are upfront decided or defined in Shiny. Now, if you want to understand various capabilities, right, you have to look at the predefined examples. In Shiny, the documentation that you have seen, you can see that there are 11 different examples which are predefined for you to understand the capabilities of Shiny. On top of that, you can do more codes as well. I will show them. One second, huh? Just give me a second, I'll show them. I work in manufacturing industry, how R Shiny will help manufacturing industry and why it is getting popular these days. Manish, the question I really don't justify, or I don't stand with that question. Shiny is just a application, a package on top of R. Irrespective of what industry you're working, if you have data, you can do descriptive analytics, predictive analytics. When you are giving those reports, the analysis reports, would you like to give the code this way? Do you think your client would understand what is this code? Or do you think your client would understand this part? That's a simple question that you have to ask. And see, there's always trade-off. There are few communities which still refer back to R. There are few communities which are taking Python up. Both are equally important, and in my next webinar, I will be talking about similar kind of web framework that can be deployed, that can be used on Python codes. And by default, it is Flask, which we use. So I'm going to talk about Flask in my next class webinar. If we give this app to client, then is it necessary that client should also have all data on which we made model on that system in which they open this app? Okay, not really required, because if you are deploying this on cloud, shinyapp.io, right, which is basically a licensed version, then your data and all those things would be available on the cloud, and your client would only have the solution, the URL. And that URL is this one. So because it is local URL, I have this. But if it is deployed on cloud, you get a different URL. And for that URL, client does not need to know the data, client does not need to retrain, and all that is required. We are doing already, right? So client does not have to do it. Client would only pass new data for prediction. That's it. Okay. Now, one important point that you have to remember is when you are developing an application like this, Shiny app development, right? Any application, this application is generally designed or developed and executed by your RStudio session only. And till the time your visualization, your web framework is up and running, or is active, you would not be able to use your R session because the execution is still happening, right? So if you want to use your R application or studio session, then you have to close this or click on that run button, right? The stop button. This would exit the execution. This is when you are doing it in local. Then you would be able to do other codes execution as well. All right. Now this is what I was talking about. These are the ready-made R Shiny example codes which are there. So if you say hello, it is a simple histogram example. This is how it looks like. There is a slider bar. I would be changing and I would getting my bins varying. And this is the code. If you scroll down, this is your code. Right? You need to probably just explore on what is this doing. Sidebar layout, then sidebar panel, slider input, right? This is what I have done, if you have seen, right? Similarly, I have second example, tables and data frames. So I want to see my data in a data frame format. So I would be choosing my inbuilt data sets which are defined. I'm taking just 3 as an example. And I want to see only 10 rows or 9 rows, right? You can see this. As and now I change, the representation of the data is getting also changed, right? Show with that. This is what it looks like. This is the code. If I click show below, it only shows the application at the top and code at the below. You have a lot of such examples here, right? For example, you want to upload your data, some data, CSV file. This is something which is there in your RStudio GUI interface, right? Now I can also execute the similar kind of look and feel using Shiny. And these are multiple options that I am giving to that code. So you can see these are defined here. Radio button. That's what here you see, right? These are radio buttons. So these widgets are upfront given or defined, and we are using those widgets only and passing our input to it, right? So this is about your R Shiny application, guys. Now these are the things that you have learned. You have learned that Shiny is nothing but a simple R package. It helps us develop various graphical representations which would be dynamically capable to users. That means the user can change those values, the input values, and with that the output value can get changed. We have seen the Shiny coding structure. It has 3 objects: UI interface, user interface object, server object, that is your main brain or the logic of your entire application. Then you have Shiny application, which is like calling that function. User interface is basically object which is talking about the look and feel. And you have also seen the default syntax for UI. It is a fluid page. You have seen this, right? Fluid page, and then open and close the bracket, and within that you are going to define your UI. And for server it is function, and for function you are going to pass input and output variables which are mandatory. Default variables that you have to pass is input and output. Oops, sorry. Yeah, let me go back. Okay, jumped ahead, I guess. Let me go back to my code. We have also seen how the deployment can be done. What are the various options? It can be done on local machine. That's what we have done. You can use the shinyapps.io, which is a cloud-based licensed deployment option, which is given by RStudio. You have to basically purchase the license, or you can also have your own server, in-house server. So the difference between shinyapps.io and hosted Shiny server is Shiny Apps is a cloud-based server, and Shiny server would be your in-house server that you want to install and use. And this Shiny applications basically give us flexibility to share our applications, web applications, like an URL to your clients, right? And we have also understood it is very easy and very fun to develop these codes. And all you need to have is the basic knowledge of developing R codes. And if you have R codes or R scripts readily available, then you are going to incorporate that code into server object, server.r object. And on top of that, you are going to wrap up your user interface to develop very interesting and very beautiful looking web applications. Okay, I think I have a question. If we practice all examples, it will cover all the syntaxes required to develop visualization graphs. Yes, Kishore, you can start doing that. World is never enough. Okay, so there are a few examples which are given, but Shiny App is basically a package and it has a lot of capabilities. You need to explore more and more. To start off with, explore those 11 examples, that would be good enough. Now, I would also want to explain the scholarship program that we are launched. This is Jumpstart program, which is a 360-digit MG in collaboration with InnoDataTix. And InnoDataTix is a consulting firm which does a lot of AI and analytics related projects. In fact, now InnoDataTix is into IR implementation as well, industrial revolution implementations for various prestigious clients. So InnoDataTix has come up with this scholarship program along with 360-digit MG, where we are trying to help student community and also professionals alike, where this is more like a program that we are doing for giving back to the community. And as part of this scholarship program, the participants can choose one of these programs. For students, you might probably want to choose Python and R programming, machine learning on cloud. That would be the trending concept in near future. You're learning machine learning, fine, but a lot of organizations are basically having their entire data on cloud. And thanks to the cloud infrastructure, the computation capabilities are also very good for these organizations. So entire solution that you are developing, clients would want you to develop and deploy it on cloud itself. So how are you going to develop and deploy your machine learning logics on cloud? That would be discussed in machine learning on cloud. We also have AI-based conversational chatbot building. Nowadays, you have seen a lot of automation, right? And service desk automation is one of that. And as part of that, the chatbots are getting created. Chatbots are nothing but the first level of interface for the client visitors who are going to come to your website. So rather than having a person deployed and answering customer queries on the websites, we can develop chatbots. These are AI-based chatbots that we are talking about, which is going to read the input that is being asked by, right? And then by looking at the question, the chatbot would give a appropriate response. Right? These are the three programs that a student can look into. And if you are basically in a working profession and if you are at a managerial level, then big data for managers would be more appropriate for you if your organization has already not transformed into big data solutions. World is going to look at huge amount of data getting generated. Now, eventually your organization would also end up having huge amount of data, big data. So if your organization, or if you are in a position where you can take the organization, transform into big data solutions, then this program would be more active. And if you're coming from a finance background, then you might want to look into finance or accounts background, then you might want to look into this data science for internal auditors and accountants. These are the domain specific modules that we are launching. And these are 5 of the programs that you can choose at a very discounted prices. And not just that, on top of that, people who are enrolling for any of these programs would get 50% discount coupon for regular programs that 360 Digit MG is going to conduct. Say for example, data science program. You're paying some X amount to enroll into that. Now, if you enroll for these Jumpstart programs, then you would be getting the 50% discount, and you can use that discount coupon to get that discount for your regular data science program. You might say that, hey, I'm already enrolled into data science program, I'm your existing customers. Then you can also look into the AI program, which is the next level of your data science program, where we would be talking about deep neural networks, processing images, processing videos, right? So that program can be availed at 50% discount. You talk about any program that 360 Digit MG is conducting, and you can avail that discount coupon. So let me quickly show you the video. Right, so yep, sorry. So this is the Jumpstart program that I was talking about, and I would recommend you people use this opportunity. You can share this information to your friends and family members who might want to avail some discount, right? Now, these are the social media links. I would request all you people to like and share our social media pages, and you would be getting the webinars which we are conducting on this YouTube private channel. Okay, so I can share these links with you people on the chat, on the chat window, and I would request you people to share and like these things. This is the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and share and like it. You would be getting access to your webinar. So this is the webinar that I conducted last week, wherein I was talking about Spark capabilities for ingesting real-time data, right? So these kind of programs would be available as part of webinars for you in this YouTube channel. So yeah, those are the links, and I would request everyone to please subscribe to these channels to get the latest information. Like and share and leave your comments, friends. Shivanshu, yes, absolutely. The lifetime opportunity, yes. Your LMS would be there for your lifetime. Or at least, I would rather say, as long as 360-digit MG is available or existing, you would have LMS access till then. All right, so any questions, anyone? All right, friends, if no questions, then thank you so much, and we'll meet you again very soon as part of next webinar. Until then, take care and have a very good night.